Espinas, an experienced one too, 21 wins and 7 defeats. Has mostly campaigned at minimum weight and light flyweight, up at flyweight tonight. Has won a national title in the Philippines at light flyweight. Has come out on the wrong side of results in his last few, but has generally gone the distance, and that's been over 10 and 12 rounds as well. So I think the idea here is that Espinas will give Vasily Egorov, who at 30 years old is making his professional debut, some rounds and the test.
Дамы и господа, а на пути в золотой угол приветствуйте легенда российского бокса Василий Egorov!
Much decorated amateur Vasily Egorov, boxing for Russia, European golds in 2015 and 2017, a World Championship silver in 2015 as well. Lost out to Cuba's Ioannis Argalagos in the final. Qualified for the Rio Olympics, but lost his first fight against USA Nico Hernandez. And since then, it just hasn't quite happened for him. Got to the quarterfinals of the European Championships in April, losing to Attila Bernat. And has decided now to try his hand in a professional ring.
Дамы и господа, нас ожидают 6 раундов в весовой категории до 51 килограмма. Рефери боя Дмитрий Мелис, Эстония. Первым представляем боксера в черном углу. Ему 31 год, его рост 157 сантиметров. Его рекорд насчитывает 28 боев, 21 победа, 7 поражений, 12 побед нокаутов. Из Аракиета-Сити, Филиппины, по прозвищу «Маленький гигант» Джесси Эспинас. Боксеру в золотом углу 30 лет. Его рост 162 сантиметра. пятикратный чемпион России, двукратный чемпион Европы, финалист чемпионата мира, участник Олимпийских игр из Якутска, Россия, Василий Egorov!
Touch of gloves between the two. You can see the physical difference between the pair of them. As I said, Espinas started out at minimum weight, can still make light flyweight without any particular problem. Egorov is definitely the taller of the two. There's no possible way that they are the same height when you see them in the centre of the ring. He's got those shorts hitched up pretty high there, Espinas as well. So there's not much body available to Egorov. Both of these two southpaws. Egorov in the white, Espinas in the black. They're scheduled for 6 or fewer at flyweight. I saw a lot of Egorov in the amateurs, mainly because in those European Championships that he won, he beat UK fighters Harvey Horn in 2015 and Galal Yafai in 2017. Just short with the jab at the minute, Egorov. You can see how well schooled he is. Espinas in very good shape. After this, we have Dmitry Dvali up against Shakobudin Zoirov at bantamweight, and then our co-main events. Albert Batagaziev taking on John O'Carroll for the vacant WBA interim super featherweight title. Batagaziev, an Olympic champion, and then Muslim Gadji Magomedov fights for the vacant WBA bridgerweight title against Xiaomin Zhang. Gadji Magomedov, two-time world champion, two-time European champion, Olympic silver medalist, so it's a real ability on show here tonight. Egorov doing a good job of just moving Espinas around the ring. Espinas doing a pretty good job of not getting landed on too often or too cleanly. He's not been very ambitious here, the Filipino, but that's understandable. Stepped in there and rattled off a couple of punches to the body. So Egorov has dictated terms in his first round as a pro. Maybe not quite found the distance just yet, but he's got 5 more rounds to work on that. Espinas fairly circumspect in that opening round. Maybe we'll see him come a little bit more out of his shell as the fight goes on.
Seconds out.
Into the second round. Good right hand there from Egorov. Espinas more on the front foot in this second round so far.
Hold it. Russian, hold it. Step back.
I think he knows Espinas that he can't just allow Egorov to dictate the pace here. He's got to try and get something done himself. He is a really good rhythm fighter, Egorov. If he settles, and he generally settles quick, then it can be a tough job to knock him out of that rhythm. Turning into a good fight in the second round. Espinas is looking to try and work the body. He's an experienced fighter, as I outlined, and in that first round, he may well have just had a look at Egorov, felt what he had to offer, and decided that there's nothing to be too concerned about here. He just tried to lead off with the uppercut, fell short, and was counter with the left hand there from Egorov. But I think he'll prefer this, if anything, the Russian. It's always better to have somebody in front of you who's looking to try and attack. Good left hand there from Egorov. Espinas just trying to barrel onto the front foot and get amongst it, really. It's the final 30 seconds of round two. We're scheduled for a bit of a break after this fight. Boxing resuming after this one at 10:30 local time.
Меня после передние ноги острее, понимаешь? Мы за старшом только здесь ты встречаешь. Либо через ногу будет, понял?
Into the third. Big right hand there from Espinas, puts Egorov down heavy. That was a very solid shot. He went right onto it. Strong right hand. Straight onto his back. He's taking it fine by the look of it. He was almost immediately back to his feet, but now that does make things very, very interesting. Egorov, I think, has won those opening two rounds. Certainly won the first round, won the second round, I would say, although Espinas had plenty to offer in that second round, but That's a big statement to make at the start of the third, and he's going to go after him a little bit here, Espinas, and he absolutely should. As I say, I don't think Egorov is hurt here. From the way he got back up, you could tell that his legs were pretty solid. But this will be a 10A round. Unless Egorov could do something absolutely sensational in the remainder of it, basically put Espinas down to level up the knockdown, because if you don't manage to do that, then you've got to dominate the rest of the round to an incredible extent. To haul that extra point back. Good right hand there from Egorov. He's looking to try and let his hands go. And the crowd just getting behind him here. I think they know that he maybe just needs a little bit of a lift. He's looking for that left-hand counter again there, Espinas. Didn't quite manage to land it that time. A different kind of punch anyway. He was looking to try and whip the uppercut in. Egorov looking to try and get on the jab. He's enjoying this now, Espinas. They both are, I think. We've had some good fights tonight. This one looks like it could be really interesting in the second half. Final few seconds of round 3. And this very interestingly poised at the halfway stage. If you give Egorov those first 2 rounds, then that's a 10A round for Espinas, which levels it. Was clear-eyed throughout the entire thing, and the punch caught him as he was, as I say, on the move. And at the end of the punch too, it was a lovely shot, absolutely lovely, but it didn't hit him absolutely full force. If it had done, then Egorov could have been in some very, very serious trouble. But as it was, he was just moving off it slightly, but it was a sweet, sweet shot. I said at the start of the fight that the Espinas have been brought here to give Egorov some rounds and a test that I don't think people were really expecting that he was going to get put down. So that's some adversity to have to cope with in your first pro fight. Good right hand there from Espinas. Egorov just can't get too anxious here. He won that first round. He may well have won that second round. There's 3 rounds left here. It's a long time. Yes, he needs to win the rounds, but he doesn't need to go crazy. The fighters, when they have their pride wounded, and his pride will have been wounded, being dumped on the canvas in front of home support, they can tend to throw the more sensible game plan out of the window sometimes. Nice dabbing short right hand there from Espinas, but Egorov, who's working the harder of the two. Espinas could just do with doing a little bit more, unless his plan is just to try and walk him onto another one, but I'm not sure there's a huge chance of that happening again, to be honest. Good jab there from Egorov. Really trying to tilt that left hand over there. Espinas steps in and goes to the body with that lead right hand, and again manages to get underneath Egorov, which is no surprise given how short he is. He splits that stance quite wide, dips low at the waist, and Egorov is just trying to keep the intensity high here. He's taking this round on work rate, you would say, the Russian. Just there, when Espinas gets it nice and low like that, he gets underneath Egorov as he comes in. And from there he can work the body.
Seconds out. Пятый раунд.
So into the fifth. Vasily Egorov, two-time European champion as an amateur, World Championship silver medalist and Olympian, with a tough job on his hands here against Jesse Espinas, having been put down in the third round, but he'd responded well to it. He would have lost that third round 10-8, but rounds 1, 2 and 4 he's probably taken. So on my card, he's got his nose in front here with a couple remaining. And again, he's keeping that tempo and work rate very, very high in the opening minute of the fifth round. Lovely uppercut there, though, from Espinas. Again, he gets low and then was able to switch up from the body to the head. Again with the uppercut there, Espinas, he was short with the hook there. Egorov, Espinas stepped up to his right-hand side and just off the angle, got a good purchase on it. Not an awful lot of what Egorov is throwing is getting through that clean, whereas Espinas has picked some nice clean shots in this round. Heading up towards the final minute of it. The work rate has been there from Egorov, but Espinas is pretty comfortable in there, to be honest. When he's won round Egorov, it has been on that work rate. He's thrown plenty, enough have made it. But in this round, I think Espinas has done a good job of just picking the odd eye-catching shot. That one was a good example. It didn't really land that lead uppercut, but depending on what side of the ring you're on, it might look like it did. Final few seconds of round 5. for a big, big hook there, Espinas, at the end of the round. Well, that was a tight round. My feeling is that Egorov will be ahead going into this sixth and final round, maybe by a couple, but it could be closer than that. He had that 10-8, of course, in round 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he's won 1, 2, 4, and 5. But that 5th, I thought Espinas did some nifty work. Was it enough, though, to tip the balance in his favour, given how busy Egorov has been? But it's been a tough pro debut, that's for sure.
Шестой раунд.
Into the sixth and final round. And again, it's been a good fight. There have been good matches on the undercard, they really have. Just dabbing his forehead there, Egorov. I think the head's crashed, but I don't see any evidence of any kind of a cut. And Espinas giving us a good example there of why he's difficult to catch, because he's having to punch down Egorov. And it's not an easy thing to do. Good jab from the Russian. Nice left-hand counter there from Egorov. Espinas just reached a little bit with his own right hand and then paid a price. Minute gone in round 6. Good jab from Egorov. Just touching with the lead hand there, Espinas looking to try and let that left hand go. Into the final minute. Egorov just looking to try and stalk Espinas, who still looks comfortable here, still just looking to try and land one more big one, I think. Chops down with the right hand there, Espinas, and landed it. And a nice uppercut there, kind of screw shot, then stepped off to his right-hand side. He's shown us that he's a good fighter in this fight. I don't think he's going to have done enough to win it. He just hasn't quite been busy enough, to be honest with you. I think that's what the verdict will be anyway. Last 10 seconds. There goes the bell and touch of gloves. And a little pump of the fist there from Egorov. He recovered from that knockdown in round 3. I think he probably won every single other round, but that is a test, having to get up off the canvas on your professional debut. That definitely wasn't in the script. And it was a lovely shot from Espinas, who is a good fighter. You can see that he's well drilled, he's well polished, knows exactly what he's doing in there. Very similar to his fellow countryman who walked him into the ring, J.R. Raquinel, who we saw earlier on. The pair of them maybe didn't quite push things quite as hard as they could have done at times. You felt like there was a little bit more in the tank there maybe, but they certainly played their part.
Давайте поблагодарим обоих боксеров за этот ярчайший бой. И в этом зрелищном и напряженном поединке единогласным решением судей победу по очкам одержал Василий Egorov! Россия!
So Egorov gets it, but as I say, he had to come through a little bit of a crisis there with the knockdown in round 3, put down by a lovely right hand from Espinas, an absolute peach of a punch, but outside of that, boxed well, as you would expect from somebody of his background. 32 years old, and in those lower weight divisions, he won't be looking to hang around. He'll be trying to make strides, make progress as quick as he possibly can. And as we look back over some of the highlights, just a quick reminder that boxing is scheduled to get back underway, as I understand it, at 1/2 so in about 35 minutes time, with those 3 remaining fights: Dimitri Tavali against Shakobadin Zoirov, and then our 2 title fights: Albert Batagaziev against John O'Carroll, the WBA interim super featherweight title, a vacant title, and then another vacant title, the world bridgeweight title, being contested by Musin Gadzhimagomedov and Xiaomin Zhang. And there's the knockdown. It was a cracking shot, really was. But Egorov was straight up, his legs were steady, his eyes were clear, and although he'll have been a little bit embarrassed by that,